Hi, it's Amy from Mad Dots Art, and I've been just practicing on paper with some different designs. Kind of liked how this one came out, so I thought I would do just a quick little tutorial for you. I kind of look at this as kind of a project starter. If you had like a small ornament, you could just do it with that, or if you're working on a bigger project, this could just kind of be your starter point, and then you can build off of that. And to keep things simple, I'm just going to work in one color with white. I am using the DecoArt Americana Snow Titanium White, but you can use any white for this, or really any color. All right, I'm just gonna fill up my little paint pot before I get started. And today we'll be working with nail dotting tools. Actually, these are your colors that normally come. And we'll be working with dotting rods as well. I'm gonna try and give you, there's really only 2 rods that we use on this project, but I'll let you know with the acrylic rods the colors that I'm using. And we are gonna start with the center dot, and this is your purple rod. So if you're using DIY mandala stones like I am, that's tool number 12, or 6 millimeters is what that ends up being if you're using a millimeter one. We're just gonna dip it right into that white paint, and we're gonna coat that middle dot. I'm wiping my tools off on paper towels so I don't have to put that paint down the drain. And next I am going to move to the larger side of the pink tool. That's a 1.5 millimeter if you have yours numbered. And I'm going to start by putting a dot right where my lines meet up, and dragging up and dragging down, and just a little bit to each side. It should look almost like a cross. And then I'm gonna turn my paper upside down and do that exactly opposite. And then I'm gonna do that on top and bottom. I should say, I marked mine with the Happy Dotting Company stencil, and this will have 16 different segments on it, but the middle circle has 8, so we're gonna make this little symbol on each of those in the middle. So I'm just dipping a little bit and then dragging my tool through it to make that shape. Okay, and so next I'm going to stay with that same side, the larger size of the pink tool, and I'm just going to make a little dot in between where the guys almost touch with their little, if they're stick people, this would be their arms. Okay, and actually I think I'm going to switch switch to the smaller end of your pink tool, the 1.0 millimeter. And now we're going to kind of use the dot as our starting point, our thicker point, and drag towards the tip on all 4 of the sides. So it kind of makes a circle around that shape. And just do that all the way around. I think it's really fun to just experiment. You know, I spend so much time working on projects that it's kind of fun sometimes to just pick up some cardstock and just try and make a different shape than what I'm used to. And let me tell you, a lot of them don't turn out, but when they do, I get excited. On the green, it almost reminds me of clovers. Okay. And next I am going to use your middle size of your clear rods. If you're using acrylic, that's the 8, as it corresponds to the DIY Mandala Stones tool, or it would be a size 4 millimeter if you're using millimeter tools. And here you can start on any of the spots. We're gonna make a circle that kind of corresponds to this grid line. We're just gonna put them, leave a little bit of space. You don't want your dots to touch, but we're just gonna go around that. Kind of like a little string of garland, if you will. If your paint is very thin or runny, you'll want to leave extra space in between because they may run together if you get them a little bit too close, and then they start to settle on their own. Oops, that one got a little bit less paint. There we go. Okay, and then for our next step, we're going to do the same thing with making our little crosses. I am going to use, I think I'm going to go up a size to the large end of the white tool. That's a 2.0. And this time you're going to have, if you use that same stencil, you're going to have 16 spaces, but you want to skip one in between each. So I'm going to focus kind of like on the clock, where the clock hands would be. I want to do my 6 o'clock. And flip it over. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Here's our 3 o'clock. Or 9, depending on how you're looking at it. And again, I'm just putting it where the lines meet and dragging. And then we're gonna go in between those quadrants. So this middle line in between these guys is there. All right, so we have 8 there. And here I am going to use, I'm going to go back to my size 12 tool, which is the purple rod, if you're using those acrylic rods, or size 6mm. And I'm going to just put a dot on the lines where we didn't put a cross. We're going to put a dot in there. We're going to kind of do this a similar thing where we're going to, these are going to be a little bit more elongated, but we're going to start the thicker part at the circle and pull away from it. And I'm going to use the bigger side of the white tool, the 2.0mm. So then we're just going to take that and pull it. So it ends up being almost a little more football shaped, oval. And pull toward the tip of the cross on the bottom and the top. The key to getting the paint to move is it has to be thin. So if your paint is kind of thick or sticky, it probably won't move as nicely as you want it to for this. And that's where you should use some pouring medium. And that will really help get that paint to move easier. That thins it out a little bit, but it doesn't distort the color. And if you've happened upon my video for the first time here, if this is the first of my tutorials that you've seen, I do have tutorials that explain how to get the paint consistency and how it makes your dots different. And I do have a video on tools if you're brand new to dotting or you want to get started. This one, you know, a lot of people struggle with swooshes, but I think this is a pretty simple pattern where you don't have to be super concise. Your eye is really going to complete the picture and hone in on the pattern more so than any minute little detail that you don't like. Okay, I'm going to stay with that same tool, the larger side of the white tool, and I'm just going to make 3 little dots on top of where the crosses are. Kind of like a little triangle. A little stack of snowballs. You can certainly dip every time, but by now my tool has a lot of paint already built up on it, so it's holding on to that excess paint a little bit easier, where I can usually get 2, sometimes 3 if I tap a couple times. And that is it for your little starter pattern. It's kind of cute, I think. I hope you guys enjoy doing this and following along. And you know, you can get packs of this cardstock at most dollar stores or craft stores. It's not very expensive, and it's a fun way to just experiment with trying out different patterns. Some are good and some don't go so good, so that's life, right? That's how it is when you create things. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.